Peter Blexley's been here since 6 o'clock. I'm sure you would like to have been here since 6 o'clock. If you haven't been, you've missed an awful lot of very, very interesting stuff, particularly about the reset that's coming later. But don't
It's
call
not
it...
a reset.
Sorry, it's not a reset. Keir Starmer's just relaunched. Is it a relaunch?
It's not a reset.
It's not a reset.
Stop using that word, reset.
Sorry, it's definitely not a reset. It's not a relaunch. It's just a clarification of what he wants to be doing. Now, here's a story I never thought I'd be talking about in the month of Sundays, but it's on the page 3 of the Daily Telegraph, a great big lead on page 3, and it's Cliff's Christmas #1, his gravy recipe.
Christmas time.
Yes.
Mistletoe and wine. And Cliff's gravy.
Cliff's gravy.
Sir Cliff.
He says that he makes the best gravy in the world. He basically he's quite immodest about this, it has to be said.
Yeah.
He's basically said, probably the greatest gravy in the world is made by what he calls 8 stock cube mixes with teriyaki sauce and a concoction like no other. He says that he set it up from his whole set of... He says, I'm still waiting for some company to offer me a deal. Paul Newman has his name on all sorts of mayonnaise and salad dressings. I'm available, can you imagine, for probably the greatest gravy in the world.
Now, I've got a lot of respect.
Are you a gravy man?
Oh, yeah, my wife makes the most amazing gravy. Right. And I'm sorry for sounding all blokey, but I don't know how she does it, because I'm usually opening another bottle of red while she's doing the gravy.
I mean, I must admit, as much as I like to cook, I don't really make gravy. I tend to just buy the gravy in a box, take a spoon of it out, put it in a cup, and pour some hot water on it.
Oh, not in my house,
no?
Mike. No. My wife insists on making gravy with the powder.
And I have great respect for people that do that, but it seems to me a bit time-consuming.
Yeah, but it's worth it in the end. She makes amazing gravy, and I would of course say it would be better than Sir Cliff's. But you know, he's of course he is a national treasure.
He is,
despite efforts of the BBC to trash his name some years ago.
Yes.
And what I really respect about Cliff is that for decades he's been consistently rubbish.
He has.
His music is awful.
We quite like him for that, though.
Yeah, and of course there is one track for which I will always adore him, and that's Summer Holiday.
Okay.
Because whenever we load up the car, especially when the kids were younger, and we got the suitcases in the back, we're all ready, off we go. As we drive off the driveway, I start singing Summer Holiday.
Yeah, okay.
And the kids look at me
and
going,
they just
I'm not
for God's sake, in my head, I've got the We're Not Talking Anymore one, because that's I don't know why that one jumps into my head. But everybody's probably got a Cliff Richard song. I also remember the time he got up when Wimbledon was, embarking on, the first day of the second week or something, and it was all rained off, and he stood up in centre court and started singing, which was great.
Yeah.
Again, a bit naff, but it's kind of why we like things like that in Britain.
Yeah.
And when the BBC picked on him, and when the police, tipped off the BBC that they were going to raid his house and all of that, we hated it. We were on his side.
Yeah. I love the fact that in this country, not everything has to be cool and slick and beautiful or stunningly handsome or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Things that are a bit naff, maybe, we can adore as a nation.
A bit like Eddie the Eagle. It's a bit like, some of these chefs have come out and said that, they're not sure whether you can mix stock with teriyaki sauce. Well, why not? Don't be so snobbish about it. We've got one here from a guy called Glyn Purnell, who I've never heard of, who apparently has a restaurant in Birmingham with a Michelin star, but it's already closed last month. So I'm not quite sure he's doing the right thing. He goes, I think pop stars should stick to singing songs and chefs should stick to cooking and not try and be rock stars. Well, that's a bit of a horrible thing to say, isn't it?
And completely unnecessary. Mr. Purnell, who, like you, I've never heard of. Anyway.
And look at this, right? Heston Blumenthal, who is a well-renowned chef, but this is what he puts in his gravy, which sounds terribly complicated. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 225 grams of butter, reserved turkey neck and wings, 1 sliced onion, 1 garlic clove, 250 grams of mushrooms, 250 millilitres of white wine, 500 millilitres of chicken stock.
I'm losing interest already.
I'm already going... Sorry, I've already got my spoon in the old, Bisto. I'm chucking it into the cup, and I'm ready to eat now. Frankly, I haven't got. Who's got time for that? On top of all the other things you do for Christmas dinner?
Christmas Day, no, utter lunacy.
Yeah,
too much to do.
Complete rubbish. Also, the other one that we've got, food related, on the same page. Champagne is apparently the best thing to drink with fish and chips.
Well, you might not be surprised to hear, but I don't drink champagne very often. No.
I mean, I don't mind a glass of champagne, but I don't think I'd have it with fish and chips. The best thing to have with fish and chips for me is a cup of tea. actually.
Yeah, salt and vinegar for me, but, you know.
Well, yeah, salt and vinegar on the chips.
Yeah.
But it's a drink, the tea.
Yeah, as a drink with fish and chips, I don't know, I'm ever overly fussed about having a drink when I'm eating my fish and chips.
No?
I'm just to enjoy myself by getting the food down my gullet. But
yes.
Anyway.
Well, or mostly recovering from the amount of money you've just paid for it.
Yes.
You know, last time I took my kids to a fish and chip shop,
Yeah.
and there was 3 of us eating, it was about 45 quid.
Yeah, I paid 15 quid the other night for fish and chips.
Unbelievable. What about
cheap.
this story about the football? We touched upon it yesterday. This is, of course, the armband furore, because we've had the armband from Mark Gouy, who's a Crystal Palace captain, who's a Christian. He said, if you want me to wear the LGBT armband, I'm going to write I love Jesus on it. He's been given a hard time for that. He did it again last night, apparently. But there's another now sort of twist to the story, because Manchester United stars scrapped a team LGBTQ plus tribute after Nusir Mazraoui refused to wear a rainbow jacket when they were about to play Everton last week.
You see,
what's going on?
I think all these footballers, and I firmly stand by people's rights to express themselves and speak freely and all that kind of game. But very highly paid footballers, I think, sometimes should just kind of bite the bullet and wear whatever they're given. Right. Now, some will, of course, vehemently disagree with me, or else where does this end? So many football teams these days, regrettably, are sponsored by gambling companies.
Yeah.
Like dozens of them. And then, of course, so people, you might say, well, if you're a follower of the Muslim faith, you shouldn't gamble.
Yeah.
So then do they not start wearing their shirt that's got the main club sponsor on it?
Or a bank or something like that.
Where does it start? Where does it end? Yeah, exactly. A credit card company.
Yes.
You know, and the list goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
just keep it all out of football. Just play football.
Play football, you know, and this obsession that so many sports and companies have into buying into the LGBT campaign in some way, shape or form, like with the FA and their rainbow laces.
We've got to prove we're doing something.
Where does it start? Where does it end? It creates controversy like this. And now I think we live in a world which is pretty much, well, certainly in a country, should I say, where we're pretty much, well, a lot less homophobic than we used to be. You know, gay couples can get married, they can adopt children, they play a glorious part in every walk of life.
Doesn't make any difference if you wear an armband on a football shirt, basically.
I don't think it does.
No, I don't think so.